Second good thing today.
Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 697. Everything great, capital great, about Super Mario Bros. This is from, was it 3 months ago? Yeah, 3 months ago. From CinemaWins, has 183,000 views. It's 18 and a half minutes long. We're going to have a good time just watching this video. Super Mario Bros. Is pretty much a popular movie that came out this year, and I can't think of anything that anyone has said bad about it aside from some random nobodies.
Yeah, do you think we have anything to say?
I don't know, because
Or will we just
we have so many things to say.
Everyone knows.
Platform reactioning, YouTube reactioning by just watching the video and then saying, "Yep, that's it."
Yeah, everyone remembers the 90s Super Mario Brothers. That was like, okay, that's what we got, and that was goofy and fun and silly.
It was not what we expected, but okay.
And now we have the 3D equivalent of let's just throw money at our animators. And
that was great.
It's a great idea. Better than the Sonic movie, I would say, because the Sonic movie was live action mixed with 3D.
Yeah, but it was, for one of those things that has unnecessary humans in them, it was surprisingly okay.
Yeah, but this is full 3D. You got Chris Pratt being Super Mario, which I don't know.
He was actually okay. The clip where he sounded absolutely not convincing, I didn't notice that in the movie, honestly.
Seth Rogen is way more noticeably bad.
Wait, who did he play?
Donkey Kong.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that wasn't too convincing.
He even like outright said that like he wasn't trying to do a voice; he was just himself.
Why does Stan get roles?
Well, he has connections.
Yeah, all you gotta do, hire old Italian dudes and go, okay, you're Super Mario. It's like, okay.
Sopranos, yeah.
That's all you do. It's all you gotta make it for kids. Don't swear, and you'll be fine. It's all you're done. You're good.
Yeah. My main issue with the Mario movie was that Cranky Kong didn't seem like I thought of him throughout all the games.
Oh, you wanted a boss. You wanted a real like.
No, not a boss. He's not. He needs to be the weaker old man in the creaky rocking chair who's just complaining all the time. And he, more cranky. It's in the name. He wasn't cranky enough.
Well, yeah, I think Bowser had about 8, 9 kids that we could have as mini bosses or character lore moments, and I don't know where they went with the story. Obviously, that's a bit too complex to have that many characters, but they could have gone.
In the first movie, you don't do too much.
Yeah, you keep it simple.
Also, people who complained that the story is not complex enough, dude. 30, 40-year-old people complaining that the Mario movie that's aimed at 6-year-old children does not have a complex enough story is a bit... please sit down and reflect on yourself.
All right. Well, let's get
That's the nicest thing I can say.
Some wonderful animation criticism with some good visuals, I hope. I don't know. We'll find out.
You know, this movie isn't always the most faithful adaptation, but 8-year-old Lee was hooked the second he heard that theme. What could possibly go wrong?
Then something happened. A giant meteorite struck the Earth.
Speaking of which, they got Homer Simpson to open this masterpiece. And even some 8-bit stylization to open our video game movie.
What if the dinosaurs weren't all destroyed? It created a parallel
Dennis
dimension
Hopper.
where the dinosaurs evolve into intelligent,
he's the villain.
vicious, beings.
Just a great concept for a movie. The good dinosaur.
As a
before
kid,
the
I
dinosaurs.
had trouble
Also, I think it's
understanding
safe
the
to say that
movie,
all
to
those
be
stupid
honest.
reptilian conspiracy theories that say that the rich and powerful are actually lizards all stemmed from this movie. Obviously, that's the case. Tight lighting and framing. We've got some quality cinematography happening here. Always a good idea to choose now or present as your timestamp, since clearly it's a very fluid idea. Really leaning into Mario and Luigi being plumbers. Only an insane person would put a filthy plunger on the wall, so obviously Mario does.
That's just old.
Men in Black 2 used the same divisive weirdo sci-fi show explaining the plot. Hope they gave Bob Hoskins residuals. You guys left your bird outside. Let him in. It's dimensional travel shadowing because of the pixelation thing, and also I can smell and taste that image.
There were so many movies. There were so many movies at the time that used this toy for some
because it was
stupid
popular
scene.
at the time.
Yeah. Flight of the Navigator
like
had it
3D
as well.
glasses.
Yeah, or those balls that would keep bouncing against each other on the table, click clack, click clack. You know, like,
Or fidget spinners.
it's,
Do you guys remember fidget spinners?
I wasn't born.
There will probably be movies that will use them in the future to reference to now.
I think in my day we had gyroscopes. I don't remember fidget spinners.
It would at least be fidget cubes.
I'm the boss here.
Samantha Mathis had an iconic 6 years from 90 to 96. Pump Up the Volume, Fern Gully, Broken Arrow, a bunch of others. Put some respect on this 90s icon's name.
You know, a lot of girls have been going missing in Brooklyn lately. I'd be careful.
That's what you have to love about mobsters. He didn't have anything to do with the missing girls, but he'll still use it to his advantage. Mafia win. He's a creep.
They say it's dog.
Ha! Because they'll eat any mammal like we'll eat any reptile? Seems right. Hugo is a whole different kind of weirdo now. Fisher Stevens has creep range. It's actually crazy how much of my childhood this guy was in. Mystery Date, Hackers, Nina Takes a Lover, Short Circuit 1 and 2. Wait, wasn't...
Isn't this just normal New Yorker inhabitants?
At that time, perhaps. I don't know about the dress. Maybe that that fabric can't be found anymore these days, but it's possible. I could ask my tailors.
I mean, the fabric is interesting, but
It's made of
what I can tell of,
unobtainium.
yeah, but what I can tell of big city folk, yes, they tend to run around very weird clothes as if they live in another dimension
Yeah,
or come from one.
that's how it works.
That's true through the ages, I bet.
Aliens from another world. Let's have them dressed very weird. You're like, okay.
the lead in those movies Indian? Oh, no. Classic 90s window pane slapstick. Can't beat it.
It's like, no, I have heard it because it's like the flower and everything. But it's not like I hang around in flower shops and nothing like that.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno, but Bruno ain't about talking. A true gentleman.
Oh, I was abandoned. I grew up at St. Teresa's on Fulton Street.
Also, the egg thing. You hatched from an egg. Not sure why you're leaving that part out.
He's been my mother my whole life. My father. He's been my father, my uncle, my brother, everybody.
I really can't state enough how natural and amazing John Leguizamo's performance is. Being smashed 24/7 probably helped.
Out of my way!
Weird how he was so petty about the new Mario movie.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But he wanted attention.
You
So.
want a cameo? What do you want? What was the issue?
His problem was that there wasn't enough Latino people in the Mario movie.
That was his complaint. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
that they aren't voiced by them, yes.
Jeez, come on.
I thought the Marios are Italian.
Well, that's the general influence. If you look at them, like, yeah, they're plumbers or Italian.
Yeah, but like Chris Pratt voicing him wasn't good enough for him. I don't know. I guess voice acting has its limits.
The one of the complaints he made very loudly was TLDR that the movie wasn't woke enough.
Oh.
That's great.
Weird is working
Yeah.
in a bone pit all day.
Yeah, but and the egg thing.
It's almost as if he was a monster trying to be a human being. It's beautiful.
Bizarrely poetic moment in the video game movie about plumbers. Also, is that like one of Yoshi's relatives?
Strap your belt on, kid. We're going in.
Ladies, gentlemen, lovelies outside the binary. The late Mr. Bob Hoskins. He's played Iago. He's played Smee. Spore, the other time he was a plumber. He was Eddie Valiant. You can take the man out of the theater, but can't take the theater out of the man. Huge missed opportunity to have no actual hands-on plumbing in the Mario games. Also teamwork.
That's the echo. How do you know? I've been listening to pipes all my life.
Also some real plumber know-how. Really lending to the idea that plumbers would be perfect heroes. Look at those visual effects. Ha! Spoke too soon. Seeing this aesthetic show up now on album covers, music videos, and clothes as a hip 90s aesthetic is a trip. Whatever you
That
think
did
is
look pretty
uncool
good.
now will eventually be cool again. Therefore, I will be cool again.
You're not gonna.
Honestly, some of these dimension portal transition teleport things that we see nowadays don't look as good as that, if you ask me.
What'd they do? Get him strapped up on his waist with ropes and then spin him around in a circle and just film it and then interpost that with
Yeah, but with the types of backgrounds that they used for this.
I was looking at him as like, does it look? Is it shaded right? Is it lit right? You know, that sort of thing.
Okay, look again at the fractal nonsense here.
Right.
Is a trip. Whatever you think is uncool now, Willie.
Look, they used. I don't even know. It seems like it looks three-dimensional even, not just like some playing with liquids and reflections.
Not sure. Yeah.
Cool again. Therefore, I will be cool again.
I think that looked amazing.
Kill them now if I get there first. I'm gonna break every bone in their body, and then I'm gonna kill them.
Spoken like a true Harold Shand. And even with this loose adaptation, the production designer snuck in.
Bob Hoskins has like a really good accent for someone who's an Englishman.
Awesome Easter eggs like Hammer Bros, Thwomp Stompers, Fire Snake, Bullet Bills, even the cab is Wiggler. Love everyone. There was talk of the original version of this movie being very Tim Burton-y, and I feel like this is a taste of that. Off-putting, is that fair?
Tim Burton-y is not
this is top-notch
term I would choose.
No context, just a person crashing their bike.
Hello, morons. Hello.
They just respond with positivity. True optimists.
The plumbers took it.
Plumbers. He says it like they're an opposing political party. The 90s, man. What a time. The thing about the Easter eggs is that they really only landed for the kids who read the game manuals, because it's not like anyone called this guy a tweeter in the game. So there's some deep cuts for the real nerds among us.
You shouldn't want to around without a weapon.
Yeah.
You got one?
No.
Get him on, sucker!
You can feel it coming and it still works so well. Badass old ladies that just got a soft spot for him. And apparently before they were just doing this, Thwomps must have had a thriving rocket boot business.
I mean, the idea of the jump boots is okay. I was just confused by the whole Mushroom Kingdom being just people. But that's what the low budget gets you.
It worked out for what it was trying to do and have the dirty streets of some weird version of Manhattan, I guess. All right, here's Gingaman. Gingaman, why you're tipping me, I don't know, but thanks for the 5. I'd like to remind you guys that the scene of Mario falling into the other world was used for the very first instance of Guile's theme goes with everything meme. Okay, so when someone made the meme, that's what they used? First time? That's interesting. Did not know that.
So weird dystopian rundown dimension with horrible people is just downtown metro, big U.S. city.
Either that or like a Brooklyn or some sort of suburb or I don't know, some borough. It's hard
Detroit.
to say. I don't know what they're mirroring. This is like basically a street. Could be anything.
A Mojo Nixon cameo is not
still better than
Portland.
Portland.
Film, but as they say, if you don't got Mojo Nixon, then your film could use some fixing.
You can't arrest a guy for just singing a song.
He may not agree with your message, but he'll damn sure fight for your right to sing it. What's that hat made? Oh, is that a pig lady? Remember that Bronson Pinchot movie, Hot Resort? Yeah, me either, but Dana Kaminsky was in that too. Why did the cop cars have arresting gear like an aircraft carrier? Not sure, but it probably has something to do with them all being electric since there were no fossil fuels to burn for gasoline. You know, because the dinos didn't die.
Oh no.
Are we dead?
Fair question.
It must have good battery technology.
He's been de-evolved into fungus, and now he's wreaking his revenge on the city.
Just the most absurd exposition, and every word is true. Great and weird detail that Koopa is a germaphobe. Adds to his eliteness.
Egg-sucking son of a snake.
Egg suckers.
Egg sucker feels like a slur, and considering the reproduction here, it's kind of like baby eater. I mean, Lena is sucking an egg earlier, so maybe it's just an insult for rich jerk. Mrs. Dursley Unleashed is something I'm surprisingly here for, though. Yeah, this freaked me right out as a kid. Still does.
Goomba.
That was weird.
Now he's stinking cute, and not the worst iteration of these guys.
This is what... No, it is the worst iteration, because it's the direct inverse of what a Goomba is. This is big guy with small head, while a Goomba is very small guy with a big head. It's a shroom.
Yeah,
the Goomba is actually a mushroom, not a reptile.
Yeah, it's a little different take. I don't know why they didn't do that, because they have the Mushroom Kingdom. They may as well have.
Maybe they didn't read up on it, or didn't know how to explain shiitake to Americans.
Maybe they actually...
It must have been very difficult for them.
Well, they could have actually modeled a person in a mushroom sort of outfit and said, this does not look good. And they said, well, what can we do? And then we'll have practical effects for animatronics or whatever this is, and go, yeah, we could just make a really good-looking reptile.
Like the monster mushrooms in God, what was the English title? Mom and Dad Save the World, Idiot Planet, something like that.
Why is that?
That is all. That had good mushroom monsters.
Mom and Dad Save the World. I'll have to do a search on that one. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense to me as a kid.
It had a budget like Star Wars.
Must have been left on the cutting room floor, just like
completely
that pile of
flopped.
goose poop. Either way, I could watch that cop slipping and absolutely eating it all day. What? They don't bounce? JK. Another great attempt at adaptation. I guess they could be like the ones from Bowser. That's actually a pretty dope move. Resourcefulness. The score is so fun and zany. It makes the scene almost feel like a cartoon. But hey, you put some metal behind it, even some Terminator industrial synth, and all of a sudden you realize the heroes just stole a cop car and are getting shot at.
This is driving!
I didn't have an SNES, so I had no clue what he was talking about. In a few years, my buddy would get Mario Kart 64, and I'd forgotten this movie existed.
This is pod racing?
I try spinning. That's a good trick.
Yeah, this is well before the prequels, so yeah.
Dang, I'd have to guess it's around 1,312 degrees in there? I mean, it kind of sounds like the power-up sound. But really, it's just Bob and John getting excited about the next setup so they can toss a few back. Koopa Hari Desert. Always hated the desert levels. Stupid sun. Stupid whatever this thing is.
And this giant booger caught us in there. That's what saved us.
Have some fun and go down the absolutely bananas internet rabbit holes of is fungus alien and is fungus sentient? It really is bananas, and also it will make some of the movies seem less bananas, which in itself is also bananas.
Let's get out of here.
Bananas.
You have your mother's eyes.
Checks out since she played her own mother. That's the dream. I don't want to be an actor, but I'd love to play my own dad.
A not so benevolent dictator.
Immediately, intelligence makes them anti-bad guy and anti-authoritarianism. Makes you think, don't it?
Square root of 26,481 is?
What are you talking about?
191.
It absolutely isn't. It's 162.729 blah blah blah. Turns out bigger brains just make you think you know stuff. Luigi says gay rights. Also, John Lane was Elmo's workout routine.
Why was there a win?
It's wrong.
As we see, sir.
Chekhov's handheld de-evolution gun. Again, the 90s were a trip.
Disgusting mammals.
Fair.
Where's my father?
He's around.
He's not lying. Honesty.
You are so fresh and so clean.
You might even say nobody is as dope as her. Nah. Although both Deacon of the D's and Frank Booth wish they had that tongue.
You know what they say about little girls, don't you? They never forget the first time they kissed by a lizard.
I like that we don't know if that's actually a saying in the Mushroom Kingdom or if Koopa is just a creep. Well, he's definitely a creep, but like extra creepy. I always kind of forget the part about the Mario Brothers lore that Koopa or Bowser is in love with the princess. And it's fascinating that this movie is the only time things would actually, work. And it makes it easily the creepiest version of Koopa ever.
Throwback.
How dare you kick Yoshi? But also solid burn. Yoshi has always been the cutest, and you wouldn't think actual Dino would carry that on, but dang it, he does.
The mammals, you guys are quite
Well, of course little dinosaurs are cute.
John Leguizamo said that many of the dancers in this scene were actually local strippers from the area, and so they dressed as such, and the studio decided to cut lots of this scene out. The more you know.
Dance with me. I'll hit you all you like.
Once again, bringing that smooth Harold Shand energy. Bob Hoskins says game. You'd already know this if you had Nebula. I talk about it in my video about how the Daniel Craig Bond movies were essentially gangster movies. You should go watch it. Bold move for the first try. I know it's to save the world and stuff, but I think grab the rock between this stranger's bob-ombs with my mouth would probably be at the end of a pretty long list of other ways to get it, at least for me. But you do
this is children's movie.
I'd say that Walk the Dinosaur was too on the nose to be playing in a nightclub, but I actually bet it plays 3 to 4 times per night because that's how it would be in our dimension. Also just hitting me that Mario is wearing gloves, and I officially want to dress like this man for the rest of my life. I saw that smile. Mario might have acted like he was doing it all just to get the rock back, but the man is down to clown.
King Koopa here.
Does the gun control the FaceTime
He's not gonna get the
chat, or is he
princess.
threatening the pizza guy? Or is it just that the scene where the big bad orders pizza wasn't weird enough? Something about seeing these guys in these outfits makes me want to go to Pizza Hut or McDonald's and supersize something. Just an immediate dose of nostalgic dopamine that hits me for some reason.
What?
Stuffed crust, anyone?
I know what that is.
It does not want you to go to an actual pizzeria from an actual Italian who knows how to make actual Italian pizza.
I want to get the fast food combo that came with the advertisement.
Oh boy, Italians, food.
Yeah, I don't think pizza at... was it actually any good at McDonald's? I know they made it. I just never tried it.
They made pizza?
Oh,
made pizza?
They had a pizza at McDonald's.
Oh, like Krusty Krab, yeah.
I don't know, but I saw it and I was like, I don't think I want
No.
With my brain when it's still pizza, but I'm like, probably not. I just had some anyway.
Fascist! Oppressor of the proletariat!
Based idiot Spike. Honestly, I'm glad to see that the plague finally realized solidarity was the key. Also stoked to see that Vito did, in fact, do the right thing.
What I mean is, I think we can do this together. I think I can help you.
We can talk about this later!
Very well, then. If not with you.
Yeah, that's what Carolyn Martins would do. He really is so pleased with himself. Just the happiest little guy, or big guy, small head. Nope, you stab Yoshi, you die. I mean, I get it, the dude swallows huge things whole, but still, you die. Them's the rules. So apparently the reason here was that some reptiles sort of get in a trance with rhythmic movement, but I like to think the Goombas just really love to dance. Honestly, I just love everything about the Goombas. I love looking at them. They spark joy, what can I say? And this is easily a top 5 scene in this movie.
You have bad taste, man.
You gotta ship them. And she recognizes he's one of the good ones. Heartwarming.
This is my father?
Yes.
Don't worry, Daisy. He seems like a fun guy. It's fair, it's fair.
A retreat is in order. An ordered retreat.
They're so stupid, and I love it. They just increase their vocabulary and confidence.
How did you know they do that? Huh? Because everybody loves to dance, that's why.
See, he gets it. They got me on this one. I love that it plays into Luigi's whimsical way of doing things. You kind of think, yeah, if you believe it enough, you can totally fly. It's even funnier because just gotta believe is Luigi's goal for Mario.
You just gotta believe.
Hugging. Probably slightly too extended hugging for the timing, but still hugging.
Thank you for all your help.
Leguizamo plays Luigi so sincerely. He's kind of a doofus, but also he's a total sweetie. I love how Hopper keeps his hands close to his body like a T-Rex.
Get a room.
Fun fact, the directors hated it. Making movies seems fun.
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Lizard King.
Really just want nothing but the best for these two. It's clear they were meant to be.
Daniela, I promise to take her to WrestleMania.
We've all got that one friend.
There's a missing girl from Brooklyn.
Yeah, except for Angelica. She's from Queens.
Well, that explains it. Queens. Psh, only respect girls from Brooklyn. I actually have no opinions on boroughs of New York. That seems like a mistake. But Captain America was from Brooklyn and Peter was from Queens, remember?
Okay, you ran out of things to say.
End of the de-evolution guns. Prepare for destiny. Where's my pizza?
Priorities. I mean, it's no Willow, but this is a pretty solid unorthodox sledding scene, and if I'm being real, Satch's Speed of Light may actually be too perfect of a song choice, almost too feel-good. You know I'm just happy to see the Goombas having so much fun. Hashtag justice for Goombas. My guy, we came full circle.
The one thing I will say about that is that it was a good implementation of the whole pipe thing.
Right, we never actually know what happens in subspace and how we get from A to B in Super Mario Brothers, so... To show
I always thought like the thing that happens when you slide down in Mario 64 is how you go through the pipes. But
Mario 64 only has one pipe.
No. There are those sliding levels, and like you have to slide down literally a pipe. And like I felt like that's inside of a pipe when he travels.
Okay. The Mario movie, the new one, that has some transparent pipes for the obvious travel through fast pipe joke that Futurama already did.
Yeah, well, that's like more visually appealing, so I can understand why they went with that.
Yeah. And to bring in the whole pipe puzzle confusion thing that once in a while a game does.
All right.
Too late, humans.
Sir, your pizza's here.
Not now.
I really love the pizza subplot. There's literally no reason for it, but it's just perfect. Mario says gay rights. Electro death shadowing.
He's got a baba.
A sex bomb?
We cannot see any rainbow thing ever anymore without thinking about anal sex. Is that it?
Is that the joke?
Poor children.
I guess.
Poor children of today. No rainbows for children anymore.
Although I didn't see this coming, and it is brutal. So a human de-evolving wouldn't become a chimp, even though it's kind of a common evolution misconception. We didn't evolve from apes, we just share a common ancestor. And he'd probably look more like a bonobo, but really a unique man.
Why does that look like the Super NES Super Scope? If you guys ever saw it, it was basically a
I never.
bazooka.
I don't think we had it.
Oh no! If you do a Google search for the Super Scope, it's a little obviously different color, but it pretty much looks the same.
That doesn't exist anymore.
It does.
Anyway, back to the video game movie about palette-swapped plumbers. I mean, why not? Almost nothing has made sense in this movie at all, and I'm still loving every minute of it. Why not have Mario use a mushroom as a shield and then Captain America that piece at Koopa? Get it. Trust the fungus. Everyone in this kingdom seems to know what this little guy is and completely fears it. I really worried that harmonica was just decoration, and I am pleased that it isn't. This right here is the part that stuck with me. If you asked me what happened in Super Mario Bros. As a kid, I'd have said there were tiny dino head bad guys, and then in the end, there's a bucket, and the big bad guy shows his true form, a terrifying toothed monster. I didn't know he was de-evolving into a T-Rex, I just assumed he was nightmare fuel beneath the human skin suit all along. This part seems a little closer to true evolution in the video game movie about palette-swapped plumbers.
He looks like the Terror of Wojak.
Again with the zany music, where's Danny Elfman when you need him? You can't say they didn't pick a tone and stick to it, though. And that tone was 90s. Fun fact, Lance Henriksen actually came up with the idea of coughing up Rice Krispies when the king re-evolves because he thought he'd have some fungus inside. Lena continuity. Love.
I'd call them the Super Mario Brothers.
That's nice, but you'd be wrong because it's Mario.
Luigi, Mario!
Daisy!
You gotta come with me, I need your help.
Honestly, I would love to see what they had planned for the sequel. Plus, she's got her own correctly colored coveralls.
Are you sure?
Aw, that's called a
They
character
had planned
arc.
something?
A video game based on your many adventures.
What would you call it?
Oh.
The Super Koopa Cousins.
Ha! Bet you didn't know Super Mario Bros. Had a post-credits stinger, did ya? I'd play it. Super Mario Bros. Is a tough one for me to really judge because while it wasn't exactly my childhood the way some 80s and 90s movies were, I only saw it a few times, it still holds a special place. I'm not an idiot, I can watch it now and see that it's a weird mess of direction, writing, and even performances are all over the place, but it's still got heart, and dang it if it isn't just so much fun. The design alone in this film is just next level. I really do love how Mario and Luigi end up in their classic colors. The Goombas, while not particularly related to their video game counterparts, are so wonderfully lurchy, and like, that's just because the tiny animatronic heads are above their real ones, right? No in-universe reason, just is the way it is. And taking the concept of the Mushroom Kingdom and just slathering a city in fungus is amazingly weird in all the right ways. The effects have been clowned on for years, but honestly, it works with the aesthetic of the films and feels very in-world. I think several
The effects are fine.
Evolving Koopa looked awesome, and if I had one real complaint, it's that I definitely wanted a full scene with Koopa in dino form, but clearly that was going to be too expensive. Thing is, like with many of the problem movies from any decade, studio interference was issue number one. That it feels like we go from a kid's movie to a weird dark comedy and then just the most faithful adaptation of an 8-bit 3-color sprite who hated blocks is thanks to studio rewrites, funding issues, even actors throwing fits. And now we have what we have. Now, I'm not saying that had the studio not interfered, we'd be talking about the worldwide phenomenon and Best Picture winner Super Mario Bros., but I do think Annabelle Jankel and Rocky Morton's, the Max Headroom folks' original idea sounds like a much more fascinating film. But hey, then we wouldn't have Bob Hoskins doing this hammy Brooklyn accent.
We got light. I'm not if I get that place. I'm your main man. You Ramadan, you can of Spain.
Legend has it that Bob and John made it through the tumultuous production by getting hammered, so that checks out. Hoskins is a world-class actor who never really got his due, at least in the States. Honestly, his relationship with the movie kind of bums me out. Apparently, he fully regretted making it and was massively embarrassed by it. And like, I get it, but also I wish he could have lived to see the resurgence of the fandom for this film. Regardless of what he thought of the film, it really did bring some people joy, and I guarantee had he lived to be in a legacy sequel, he would have crushed it. And John Leguizamo is also a world-class actor, not saying that lightly, but it's also not like he shies away from the weird. Romeo and Juliet, Land of the Dead, Moulin Rouge, Spawn, that's a special one. But the guy has range. He does small parts in John Wick while also Sid the Slothing at the same time. His energy and charisma and sincerity are clear in this film, and it's why he started to blow up right after. Some of the folks involved in this film have talked about how midway through production, everyone started looking at each other and realized it was gonna be bad. And nobody wants to be in a bomb, but the thing is, bombs are still fun. And that's what this movie is. Fun and weird, just so dang weird. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like somebody put the synopsis of a Mario game into Google Translate, translated it into another language, and then back to English. It's not wrong, really, but it's not right. But it is a ride. surprised me, entertained me, and based on everything I've heard so far, for better or worse, it's the exact opposite of the new Mario movie that just came out. But you know I'll be there to find the bright side. That's the name of the channel? Bright Side, where we shine a light on the side that it wasn't. It'll be bright now. See ya.
Wait, are you implying that movie wasn't good?
Well, he was being very forgiving for everything he was trying to say. He was like, it's not that good, but it's also not that... It's like, what are you trying to say?
No, I mean about the new Mario movie. He sounds like he says like, he will try to find the good things about it with an intonation that implies that he doesn't believe there are any. That confuses me.
Well,
almost forgot. Next week.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
it means this.
What is this?
Okay. My problem with that movie as a kid was basically gave me this. It's one of many, but this is a good, very great example. When I watched this as a kid, it destroyed my hope that any video game movie made by Hollywood, which was all that was, would ever be a faithful adaptation of anything. Because it's a creative movie. With going a bit in a different interpretation. Yeah, okay, I can see that. But when you are a kid and you're told, "Hey, there's a Super Mario Brothers movie," you go what, and you have certain expectations, and then you get this. You're gonna be a sour child, and that's what that did. It soured it. And this whole thing about nowadays, like back in the day, okay, budget restrictions and all of that, okay. Limitations on special effects because they weren't as developed as they are today. Okay. Today, adaptations are shit because they're full of, bad writing due to ideological possession. So we, again, don't get good adaptations. Then we had this phase in the middle where video game adaptations were made by Uwe Boll, who didn't care about making good adaptations. He only cared about getting tax money.
That's lie. Postal was clearly the best app.
Postal was okay. Probably because he played the game and cared about it and liked it because it's his humor. But all his other stuff was crap. So
because he was German.
Yes. No, because he was an asshole. I know what you're gonna say. I grew up with being conditioned to expect that video game adaptations can never be good. So when a good one happens, it's a complete exception. That's why none of this SJW shit really surprised me. Just thought, okay, it's just the next thing that ruins it. And I'm glad we have some exceptions, like the Sonic movie, thanks to bickering of the fans, and the Mario movie. Maybe we get a few more at some point.
This was released the same time Made in America and Dave came out. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Dave. It's a story about
the
president of the United States having a double, and he ends up becoming the president because they need him to keep him alive or make him look like he's still alive. Made in America, another great film. So there was always something fun going on in the 80s and 90s at the box office if you were a kid. And this was no exception. It probably wasn't the greatest experience because it's like, this is not Super Mario Bros. This is like some weird Ghostbusters wannabe ripoff thingy in fantasy.
Yeah.
Right. But it was fun. Like you would go watch this for like $6 on a Sunday or $4.25 on a Tuesday, and you had a good time. So it was just goofy and fun, and you do that in your afternoon. You go out and play, and it was great. It was this fun experience. So I don't remember too much about this film. I do remember some of the special effects, and I do remember those jump boots they had. I didn't know they were jetpacks. I didn't know they were flying with them, but all these details I missed or have forgotten. So, yeah, hard to say. Oh, here's Threadnought. Thanks for the 5. The transparent pipes are also from 3D Land and 3D World. They canon to the games, which I don't know which games those are. And the gun looking like a super scope is another reference. Really? Huh. I don't think
the games that you just read out loud.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I guess the super scope was invented in 93. I don't remember when I was using it, but yeah, weird stuff.
I was around still, like the main period when Super Nintendo was used, so I would say so.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, okay, that was one of the fastest videos we went through. It was fun to watch. Everything was pretty much positive. A bit too positive, I would say.
Way too positive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there's lots of weird films out there based on video games. This one was not the least offensive, but I'd say the more 80s, 90s style vibe that you would get from the Uwe Boll style of movies. So I don't know if I'd recommend watching it though, but you might appreciate. I like the 80s because that's why I grew up and I'm used to that kind of style, so it's okay for me. But most people are like, this is kind of goofy. So fair enough for you guys. So anyway, thanks guys for the recommendation. I don't know if we're going to be doing an anime one tomorrow or we're making up anime day sometime this week, but
all the options were terrible.
Yeah, I know, but we still have to have an anime day. There's got to be someone out there who has a bad take on anime that we could debunk or at least make fun of. So anyway, keep the suggestions coming, keep the voting going. We will talk to you guys real soon. Have yourself a great day and a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Night.